Welcome to the January 28th, 2026 Midweek Tune-Up. This is the second Midweek Tune-Up of 2026.
Do it your dream today. We show you the way. Luxury leaves come to play. New homes here to stay. Marketing's our game. Elevate your name. Reach for the fame. Never just the same. We're the iconic agent. New construction's our lane. Teaching you the secrets for luxury gains. Digital wave we ride. Strategies we provide. No need to hide. Success is on your side. Close deals like a pro. Watch your profits grow. High standards we show. Feel that golden glow. We're the iconic agent. New construction's our lane. Teaching you the secrets for luxury gains. Digital wave we ride. Strategies we provide. No need to hide. Success is on your side. Close deals like a pro. Watch your profits grow. High standards we show. Feel that golden glow. We're the iconic agent. New construction's our lane. Teaching you the secrets for luxury gains.
So, for the archives for this replay, resources associated with each of the midweek tune-ups focused around new construction and luxury new construction marketing, visit theIconicAgent.com/tune-up. Each episode, you'll get there's resources that will provide you and infographics as well as you can watch the replays. So today is the day. If you've been following us for any time, you're aware of the 6-week new construction buyer traction elite accelerator waiting list. So today, this evening, applications open. So far, we've provided a 5-week free training, which is basically the series of tune-ups and additional resources to kind of give you an idea of how to attract new construction buyers, our process, see if it's a good fit, makes sense, if you understand it. Well, the 6-week accelerator is you, me, Nate, and the team in a room for 6 weeks virtually, walking through the process, showing you step by step. It's not a series of videos, then just go on your own. It's number one, community. It's coaching, accountability with myself, with Nate, working with you hands on, one on one for 6 weeks. We only have 25 spots. The free training, you can totally take action from that. We drop some nuggets there, but the 6 week is 10 to 20 times the value because I will equate it to, and this is, I've always thought this, but we've had several of our prior students and clients say this, is the equivalent to a graduate degree level real estate marketing education in 6 weeks. We had previously been doing a more collapsed, but right now we decided based on popular demand and asks, do we have something virtual? So this is a combination of our in-person and our do-it-yourself. They're married. We're here to support you. So go to theIconicAgent.com/waiting list, and you will be notified today when the applications open. So we have over 70 people on the waiting list. We only have 25 applications, and we open it up to the public if you're not on the waiting list and there are any spots left. We open it up to the public on Friday, which would be the 30th, and at Friday afternoon. So if you're on the waiting list, you get 2 extra days and priority for us to review your application. So let's recap really quickly what we covered in this series. Finding hidden new construction. Just about 50% of new construction and pre-construction is not in the MLS. That's why you can't find it. Agents ask all the time, like, well, I don't see this in the MLS because it's not there. So you have to be able to identify it. There are several ways or several resources and tools you can use to find that. So we covered that. We go really deep into that in the accelerator. We discussed building relationships with on-site sales staff and how important that is. Yesterday we had an AMA, which is our monthly group coaching call. Hop on, ask us questions, we answer anything. It was fire as usual. We dropped some game. There were two, not one, but two agents on there. One was in Texas, I believe, and one was in, no, I'm sorry, North Carolina. One was in North Carolina, and one was in Vegas, that simply watched these tune-ups, went and implemented it. One of them said that we shifted her mindset with new construction, which it is a mindset shift, but she took both of them females. They took what we gave them, implemented it just with the free information we have, and got deals going. Now, of course, results vary. If you're not an action taker or you're just consuming information, it's not going to do any good. But that's just to say the importance of building relationships is what got her off of the fence, and she went and got 2 deals from there. We talked about building your own private off-market new construction database, super important. Finding new construction buyer demand and how to leverage it. There are simple ways that you can find out the buyer demand for projects. So you know, okay, if I'm going to market this, is it popular? Is it not? Should I market this? Relationships is greater than data. We discussed that. We discussed how to choose the profitable communities to promote. And then last week was leveraging AI to sell more new construction. Again, each one of these tune-ups is in the archives along with supplementary resources, so you can check that out. Today, we're going to discuss organic methods to attract new home buyers. There are multiple ways to get started attracting new home buyers organically while running ads. This is not a replacement for paid ads. Understand the last 2 years was a little challenging for over 70% of agents. So we understand sometimes you got to use your time because you got more time than money. But there should always be a budget of some sort to running paid ads. Get the deal in, you can ramp it up. This is not replacing. One of the reasons that I say this religiously, and you have some people that'll argue that, and that's absolutely fine. But organic's not predictable. Paid advertising isn't scalable. It's about ROI. So diving into that, so let's go ahead and just dive in. Let me pull this down, Mr. Crawford. So we'll just go ahead and let me see. We get this. Go speaker view. Hold on a second. Make sure this is. All right, cool. So you guys can hear me? I forgot to ask. You can hear me, Nate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal. All right, so getting started with organic content. So the first thing I'd say, people ask us all the time, well, where should I start? Like, what should I do if I'm going to do something organic? And my first comment is, where are you seeing others succeeding with content? Like, go look and see who's doing what and what's working. Who's getting views, who's getting sales, go look at them. Success leaves clues. That's number one. Number two, what have you done well or what do you do well? I am a very big advocate of focusing on your strengths, less on your weaknesses, farm that out or improve the weaknesses. But if you have a strength, how about you just pump some more iron and get stronger? Don't not focus on what you're good at to do something that you're not too good at. What do you do well? And then, or what do you like? What interests you? What do you want to know or learn how to do? Now, here's a caveat: don't overlearn. Nate, chime in on that because we have this conversation all the time when people ask us, like, well, what should I do? And success leaves clues. So what's your take on that?
Yeah. The that I would say is, what do you do already? Like, there's most agents, most people in the age of social media have a social media vice of choice, right? Whether it's Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or Facebook, YouTube, whatever. And that whatever that platform is that they're spending time on already, in many cases, is the shortest distance between them and consistent content output. So what are you doing already? If it's, and that's if it's social media. Like, if you're already going, to networking events, if you're already, part of a little or whatever, if we're talking about generating leads predictably, there's almost always a part of your life where you can add intentional actions to something you're doing already to generate some sort of ROI from that activity that otherwise might not be making you any money. So the first step that I usually ask them is, well, what do you do? Like, which, if we're having the social media conversations, I ask, well, what platforms are you on all the time? That's how I realized that I sort of needed to lean in on LinkedIn and YouTube, because those were the places that I was spending the most time. Then third to that is a little bit of Instagram. But so my question to people is, okay, well, what are you doing now? How can you tweak what you're doing now or modify what you're doing now to make that a revenue generating activity and not just a time suck? And then what resources do you need? And obviously that's stuff we talk about when we setting up campaigns with AI, or doing due diligence on avatars and stuff like that. But the opportunity there, the shortest distance opportunity, is usually just being more intentional about the stuff you're doing already.
Things that you like to do, like you like the LinkedIn piece. We have conversations about that all the time. So just looking at what's out there that's working, but also what are you good at and what do you like to do, or what is your main focus? Where do you spend the most amount of your time? That's probably where you should start. And then we go to types of content. When you say content, a lot of people migrate to video, but there's written content, there's spoken audio content. And that's one thing. Right before we got on, Nate and I had this conversation around, and I've had this conversation with a lot of entrepreneurs in general, but even real estate agents. Like, agents can talk all day. That's a gift. So leverage that. There's audio, video, and then image. Now these are the main core pieces that one way or another you're going to learn through one of those. And then we go to platforms. So we kind of briefly went over platforms. The main platforms that we'll just discuss the platforms we use. There are other platforms, but the main platforms are Facebook, Instagram, classifieds, Reddit, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. So the key with that, and Nate alluded to this earlier, was pick one. Nate mentioned LinkedIn. My choice right now. Now I'm an outlier. First of all, I said pick one. So pick one and work and dominate that. I'm kind of an outlier because I've been marketing for 20 years and I'm good at project management and putting things out there. And so I'm all over the place. But my one right now, my main focus has been Instagram. So put it out. You have to put enough content out there to come back and look at it and see what worked. And then you just iterate from there. And I'll give you guys some resources and things for that. Then there's classifieds. So the old ugly website still works. Craigslist still works. Nate and I got some stuff we're doing now. I've got some data behind. Facebook Marketplace works too. And one of the things with Facebook Marketplace is if you don't know what you're doing, you'll get a whole bunch of crap and you'll waste time. But if you know how to filter and get to the people that are serious quicker, which isn't hard, then you can post an ad on Marketplace and start getting bites right away. So that is an instant free mechanism. But why I used to be biased towards Marketplace, and one of the reasons now that I see Marketplace as an outlier and it's really solid is because we're big advocates of intent-based marketing. That's why we focus on Google Ads, YouTube. I am looking for the Waldorf Astoria in St. Pete. I'm looking for the Viceroy in Fort Lauderdale. Then I find Nate. Boom. I'm looking for this. You have the solution. Great. Then there's interest. Interest means I have interest in the Viceroy, can't afford it, but I saw there's some celebrities hanging out over there. I'm interested in the Waldorf because it's the only branded building in St. Pete, but I can't afford it, but I want to get some information on it. There's a different type of person, interest versus intent. Intent is a higher value. Now, marketplace, and I never considered it this way until a few weeks back. Marketplace is intent based. I'm going to marketplace to look for a thing, to look for housing, or to buy something, and I happen to find something. So I have intent. But also, that's the intent piece. Because it's Facebook, the algorithm also presents your ad in front of people that had that intent. So it's a double whammy. And written properly and structured properly, Marketplace can really get you some results. I've got an example of an ad that I wrote months ago, still hitting. And the reason that it's working because it's benefit driven. We did a story. We did a story related tune-up. I don't remember the exact date, but it was about 4 or 5 episodes ago where we talked about, instead of boring listing descriptions, leverage story, and we gave you a prompt to work it in. We gave you the 3 types of stories that resonate and how it appeals more, because stories sell, facts tell. Well, I took that story approach and added it the story that my avatar, my okay, I said I'm gonna stop saying avatar. My ideal client persona, the story would resonate with them. So now I've added that, and that thing has taken off. As soon as I put it up, it's been taken off, getting a bunch of traction on that. Got some leads from that, and then I ran some really sexy locations, and it didn't hit. So I analyzed it too, and I see that the difference was benefits. Now that's just one quick example. We're going to cover that. It's actually one of the bonuses we're going to cover during the 6 week accelerator. I want to break down what worked, what didn't work. And that's just one of the organic structures. So if you're not on the waiting list, or if you're not on the waiting list, go to the iconicagent.com/waiting list. There's a 5 week free training that ends this week. That's just high level, kind of what we're talking about here. The accelerator is hands on. It's me and Nate at your computer, having a conversation with you and 25 other agents, and you connecting with other agents, talking, sharing what's working. It's Nate giving his expertise, me giving my expertise. We're helping you in a group setting. So it's not a bunch of videos, it's hands on. But this is something I'm really excited to kind of walk through with those that are accepted into the accelerator, because it is application only. Then you have TikTok. Now, what I've been doing with Instagram, I post to Instagram, then I post to TikTok, then I post to Shorts, because they're all short form video. So I guess we can jump to that real quick. When you have in videos, you have short form, under a minute and a half, and long form, which is like 3 minutes plus. So if I'm doing short form, I just syndicate it manually. Like I'm not using a tool. There's tools to do this, but you get points, bonus points for posting on platforms. So I use Instagram Edits. It's a free app and it's real easy to use. I use Instagram Edits, post it to Instagram, then I post it to TikTok, then I post it to YouTube Shorts, and they all perform differently. What works on Instagram didn't perform on TikTok, but now, remember I talked about going back and analyzing? My focus is on Instagram, but now I can go back on analyze over on TikTok and see how did that do. And there are things that are hidden differently on TikTok and Instagram. Then I can go over to YouTube Shorts and how did that do? And I'm analyzing each one based on that platform to see what works the best. So I'm basically doing this in threes versus ones. But don't recommend doing that unless you are an expert marketer and you've been doing this for a while. Pick one place and go. So we talked about short form and long form. So now Nate, let's get into some tactical. So kind of give some. I talked a little bit about classifieds. So we got classifieds, written content, infographics, and podcasts. So I'm just gonna go down the line. Classifieds. What's your take? What's your tips? What's your strategies? And I know you just started with
Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Yeah, Craigslist is going to be probably obviously we know marketplace works, but we've done rentals. We've made a killing, multiple times using Craigslist and volume. So there's obviously there's ways you can scale that much faster with a couple of AI agents and all types of other things. But if we're talking about classifieds, Craigslist, a powerful one. I believe that Nextdoor is probably a sleeper in that. We just got to get some testing done to confirm that.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But in the lowest hanging fruit is going to be by far, there's plenty of agents that are making a killing on Facebook Marketplace right now. So between Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, those are going to be your two winners.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, last night, if all these deals close, these two agents that just consumed the free information and changed their mindset around leveraging new construction, what was that? 4, 8, 9. It's over $1 million in contracts that they're working on from Marketplace. They got a buyer on Marketplace. One of them got two, which was kind of an anomaly, but even one, because she got a husband and wife. They were splitting up. They were separating, divorced. One of them's VA, so he's helping the husband and the wife. I don't know the whole situation, but anyway, she's selling both of them homes. I guess it's an amenable divorce, which is neither here nor there. Then the other one got a rental, and then somebody came in for a rental. Ended up the community was a rental community, and they were like, "Oh, I thought these for sale." So now she's selling them that, and they came in for a rental, but it was a new construction rental community, which that is also awesome. So in the last week, over $1 million in sales came from the free information. $1 million in contracts has come from the free information we've shared so far. So, and that's real minuscule compared to the results that we've gotten. So don't forget about the accelerator coming up. What about written, Nate? What's your take for written?
LinkedIn by far, like long form written content does really, really well on LinkedIn, and it's essentially a qualifier, right? Because the longer, if you're providing value in a long form piece, the only people that are going to read the entire piece are people who find it the most value, right? So if those people who find it the most valuable are going to be the people who read the whole thing and then take some sort of action, whether that's comment or send you a direct message or share it or repost it, whatever. Long form content on LinkedIn, I'd imagine we see some of that long form stuff on Instagram do pretty well too. And you could probably get away with it on Facebook, but
It definitely works on
LinkedIn
Facebook.
is a very powerful. Yeah, LinkedIn is a powerful one for long form content.
All right. So as far as long form, I guess the long form that I've done more often than not is press releases, which also ties into LinkedIn and video, but that's a accelerator topic. Um, Press release announcements, buyer representation announcements. One thing with press releases are when people Google your name or they go to, especially like answer engines, people use Perplexity, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, they use those to search. Press releases or authority sites start to show up. That's a hack when somebody's searching for you and they see an article because they don't realize it's a press release. They see an article written about you, it automatically pushes your authority. Like, wait a minute, my agent doesn't have anybody quoting them on NBC News in Boise, Idaho. So who is this guy? Like, you must be a big deal. So press releases are good. LinkedIn, I've dabbled in LinkedIn, got a couple things going there, but Nate is far more of an expert there than I am. Because he's posting a lot more there. I do post on LinkedIn, but I haven't sat and focused on that yet. So that's a good one. And then blog posts, articles. Those are easy. If you're a writer, you can write all day, especially when you leverage AI. Like there's so much you can do with AI. We're talking about lifestyle related, about the communities. You have the conversations. I gave away a tactic yesterday. I've given away a bunch of times, and I don't know how many people actually paid attention. I know a few do, but leveraging AI when you go to the sales centers, we gave that away for those that attended live for the AMA yesterday. Taking that content, writing articles from that, the uniqueness that works really well. You've got infographics. So here's a little nugget I'll give you. If you have a piece of content and you you can get an infographic created on Notebook LM. That's all I'm going to say. We'll give details and show explanations in the accelerator. And then podcast. I know many people that watch these tune-ups have been on the Iconic Agent podcast, and that's kind of how they found. I talked to a gentleman yesterday that was on the AMA that found us on the podcast, and now he's on our tune-ups and is probably going to be in the accelerator. So there's a there's a couple of nuts and bolts there. Um, and short form video. Nate talked about long form long form content with LinkedIn, but there's also long form video on YouTube. And one of the key things with that is some people are like, well, I would never sit there and watch a 15-minute video on YouTube video tour. And that's exactly the point. YouTube can be long form, can be exclusionary. And that's the point. Kind of like the reason we're taking applications only for the accelerator, because we don't want people that aren't going to commit and do the work. We don't want looky-loos. We don't want skeptical people. They're not even going to fill it out. So the fact that we're making people apply is going to turn away folks, which is exactly what you want to do. Long form content does that too. So anytime we shoot walkthrough tours, they're usually about 7 to 15 minutes. And like, why would you sit there and watch that? It's the psychology behind it. If somebody's going to sit here and watch this walkthrough tour, think about how long it takes you to walk through a home with your buyers. You walk through, they look at this, they're measuring in their brain, or they're actually measuring. Well, when you're doing a virtual walkthrough tour, you want to make sure that they can vision, is my queen size bed going to fit here, or my king size bed going to fit here, and the bench at the end, and a full size dresser, and then can we use this as a sitting area? The only way to tell that is to go slow and show the entire room. Whereas short form, you're just getting quick, sexy clips, boom, 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 short attention span. But if somebody watches that entire video and then they're watching you narrate it, we have a buddy of mine, me and Nate's Freedom. He does long videos where he goes a day. It's pretty much a day in the life of living here. Like you'll see him in the school line to pick his kid up from school. He's like, it should take 5 minutes from here to here, but it actually takes 20 because you got the soccer moms that want to talk and they're slow, so take time for that. And then you want to go get some ice cream where you're gonna have to deal with the bus traffic. Like he's actually walking through a day in the life. He's gotten international traffic. He's gotten traffic across the country. He's gotten referrals from agents. People talk to him. They're like, I want to work with you because the long form content weeds people out. It takes longer to produce, but it weeds people out. Um, and then of course there's just video. There's a whole lot of video options. So Nate, give a couple of options that you've done. I'll give a few that I do with video, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, well, the easiest one for me, because it's easy for me to talk, but the ease of me talking can very easily spill into me rambling. So the easiest way for me to get video content done is to turn on my camera and do what we're doing right now. Just talk, whatever the topics are. Sometimes I use a teleprompter. Sometimes I won't. Just talk for 15, 20 minutes. Then take that full piece of content, right? So I don't stop. I just keep talking. I don't stop the recording. If I mess up, if somebody walks in, one of my kids walk in, it doesn't matter. You just keep talking. Then you take that video and you upload it to a platform like Opus. And the AI will go in and find the clips for you. And then you can tweak them, obviously, where you want them to start and end. But once it's done the heavy lifting, it'll go through that video for you for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I have videos that are like an hour long of just me talking. And then I can take those properly clipped clips and then upload them to LinkedIn, to YouTube Shorts, to Instagram, to TikTok, to wherever. But it's a huge time saver in being able to just sort of talk, to get it all out of your head, and then having a tool that'll go in there and find the best optimized clips.
Yes. This is something that insiders will get this, but also we're going to cover this in the accelerator. Is that set up easier where you get interviewed and do what Nate just said? So you have some context, because here's one thing. A lot of people get in front of cameras. Like I know awesome professional speakers and trainers. And you get them in front of the camera, they sound like Porky Pig, like beep, 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 what? It's a psychological thing. So, but you cannot not answer a question. So if you have somebody sitting across from you and asking you a series of questions, now you're triggered. You can talk with no problem, and you don't even pay attention to the fact the camera's there. So that's if you get somebody to interview you, that's another hack around that. But we've got something even simpler that we'll discuss. That's the tactical that we're talking about now. We're going to actually discuss in the accelerator. And if you've ever watched any of the short clips of these tune-ups, that was Opus. That's what Nate was talking about. So I have a camera right here, right now, that's recording me. Then I've got one over here. And we'll take this, drop it in Opus. It gives us those clips with the captions, everything. Um, but that is a cheat code, what Nate just said. So go back and rewind this, go do your research, or sign up for the waiting list, or apply for the accelerator. We'll give you the game there. But one of the other things, speaking of interviews, is something that I personally do, two things. And this was an idea that I had from Nate from having a conversation. One is I talk to the on-site reps. We have conversations. Then I say, hey, let's hop on a Zoom and have a conversation. We hop on a Zoom, just like me and Nate are here. We have a conversation. And then during that conversation, we're talking about floor plans. I will play my walkthrough video tour of the floor plan. I'll jump off camera, and the on-site rep will narrate that video. So we're talking, narrates the video as B-roll, then we're talking again, finish it up, last questions, the whole nine. But I started doing that, got really good content, but it also puts me as the expert because I know this dude over here, this dude Jalen, because Jalen is the rep at the community, but he's on a Zoom with me, so that just passes that authority to me. We're kind of passing authority back to each other because when people see that, they're like, and they see me with all of these developers or all of these on-site reps, they're like, this is really that dude. Like, this is what he does. Now, everybody won't, but it's a way to lower defenses and get people to say, okay, well, this person might actually be an expert and know what they're doing. So do some on-site interviews. And on top of that, what I do, and I have an AI prompt that I've created and a whole process for this, take the floor plan, I take each floor plan from the builder, and if I have a walkthrough tour of it, I'll take the actual physical schematics, the blueprints from the floor plan, and a walkthrough, and a combination of me on camera, and I will just talk through and narrate why this floor plan is dope, why it's amazing floor plan, and how it will benefit if you're an entertainer, like you're like entertaining, and you're the one that has all the kids over or the grandkid, like just telling stories behind it and how it would benefit. So I'm doing those. They're usually like 7 to 10 minutes, specific floor plan videos. So if you have one builder that has 6 floor plans, I've got 7 pieces of content I can create from that. The interview, each floor plan, and there's even more that I can go into. Then there's like the amenities, and there's a whole lot that you can do. But there is once you break it down and you have structure and a plan behind it, that's real simple. So, and then lastly, there's like I said, guest post, and if you're doing press releases, something you can do. And we've got 2 Tampa agents that have done this, where they'll have press releases written, write them, and they'll send those press releases to local press, and they've become cited or they become resources. Like Nate's a resource, so that's 3. Nate's a resource for WPBF in West Palm Beach County. So that's something else you can do to be the resource for them. So Nate, did we miss anything? Any other nuggets? We dropped a lot on them. It's really valuable, but and we'll go way deeper into this in the accelerator. But is there anything else we missed here? Think we should cover?
No, I think we sort of gave them the game on a high level. Get your applications in, and we will see you on the other side.
Yes. So I'm gonna run through that real quick again. So this evening by 6 o'clock tonight, we will have the applications live for the 6-week new construction buyer attraction elite accelerator. So currently it's a waiting list. The waiting list will still be there, but you'll get direct access to apply. Note, there are over 70 agents right now on the waiting list. We only have 25 spots. We have one person already that's been accepted because we had a side conversation earlier, several of them. So there's only 24 spots left. And everything you heard us talk about here or you've heard us talk about around new construction, this is going to be You, myself, Nate, and 24 other agents weekly working together to take over new construction in your area. We're going to help you build systems that everything we talk about step by step how to do it. So it's not just what to do. We can tell you what to do all day. This is how to do it. And then you get lifetime access to us. We've got a 24/7 bat phone. We're here to help you and support you down the line after the 6 weeks, but we'll discuss that once you're in. So go to theiconicagent.com/waiting list. If you don't make the cut this time, we will have the next cohort. This first cohort is going to be in February. The next cohort is probably going to be around April, Mayish. But this first cohort will be the most inexpensive it will ever be. Just so you know, we didn't run Black Friday last year. I said, watch out. We got a Black Friday deal. This is that. So it's over 50% off from what it will be next time. So hop in, go to theiconic.com/waiting list. If you happen to be a playbook client or you're already in, reach out to me. We've got 5 spots for y'all. We'll have that conversation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it doesn't pertain to you, but go to theiconic.com/waiting list. And you'll have updates. I'm going to send you, make sure you put your phone number in there because I'm going to send a text message to you once it goes live. So make sure that you're on the waiting list. Otherwise, you're not going to get the text message. The application is open to non-waiting list folks on Friday. And there we have thousands of people that will be notifying. So we do not expect this to be open for long. All right. So we will talk to you guys next week.